Welcome to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. Today our first guest is Heather Belle Murphy, a health, life and love coach, and our topic is, does love paradise exist? Welcome Heather to the show, and please tell me, does love paradise exist or is it just a fantasy?
I think absolutely love paradise can exist, and I think it depends on, really importantly, of course there's several factors, but really importantly, creating a safe space for love communication, particularly when we come across love bumps. So things like, what I've really found when I've been coaching men, and I've come across this several times working with different male clients of different ages, where we may have all, I think a lot of women, we've had that experience where a man is angry and we can't work out why they're angry, and it's actually because they're experiencing what's really under it is vulnerability, and anger often caps feeling vulnerable for men, particularly in the past, you know, where a man may have been instilled with growing up, be a brave boy, put a brave face on it, stop crying. So what do men do then if they've had that kind of learning and that cap put on their emotional expression? They become angry. So this is a really super skill for women to embody, which is to, when a love bump arises, not take it personally. Listen. We don't have to respond, or we can respond in a, let me think about that, darling. You know, give me some time to think, give me some time to process it. Is this actually pertaining to us or to me? Or is that person just simply feeling vulnerable and being a bit, you know, volatile at that time? So the way you communicate, and I think this comes into my rules of engagement, so that love doesn't become a battleground, you know, where everybody ends up being injured and bloody. So knowing what your rules of engagement are, like even if I bring something to you and it may be a bit bumpy, I'm still going to try and say it gently, you know, and still try and be kind. Now, of course, if somebody has just hit their thumb with a hammer and they're going to explode, well, just let them explode. And of course, people tend to say uncomfortable things when they're in that heightened emotional state, when they're hungry, angry, lonely, tired, HALT, great acronym. So when that happens, you tend to just, you know, if your partner is Vesuvius, just let them blow. Let them blow off steam. In fact, when my partner has classically been a bottler, bless him, so I know that he's feeling particularly safe with me because he comes and he blows his stack to me. Now, I can choose my response because I'm grown up and I'm also responsible, you know, for my response. So if I'm ever a bit offhanded or I raise my voice, even though I feel that I may be right, I apologize because I've spoken out of turn. As we practice, and this is a skill like anything else, as we practice it, we tend to get better at it. And so, again, it's part of that skill set for Love Paradise, a long, sustainable, juicy, intimate love. And I can tell it works because he wants to bring me more and more things.
Could you please elaborate on what a love bump is for our viewers?
There's a big difference between love handles and love bumps. Both are great things, both are great opportunities to grow. Love bumps arise as a natural consequence of, you know, two people coming up close and personal together for a long time. And what you'll actually find, like any challenge, just like the tide going out, it's actually negotiating the love bumps when they arise. Those bumpy times, you know, when we're vulnerable, when we're angry, when we might be going through a time of loss, you know, a time of grieving. And so we may not be showing up with our best selves in relationships. Now hopefully that's the time when one of us is going to step up and be there as the rock of support for the other person. And my partner and I joke about this, where it's like you're on that drive and you can't quite find out where you're going. And he hates that because that's part of his masculine thing, and he's an amazing driver, navigator of Melbourne. And so when we can't find somewhere, he will tend to get a bit tense. And I know that's my time to just zip it. If he wants my help, he'll ask for it. And I just sit back and I just enjoy the ride until he says, darling, can you get the Melways out? Or darling, can you Google map this? Or I think, can you check that the address that we have is correct? Now, we're both very clear about our love paradise destination because we both love being in it, and we want to make that as sustainable as possible. So, of course, we follow our rules of engagement, particularly when it comes to love bumps or when one of us is in a bit of a vulnerable situation.
Well, thank you for that. And do you have any tips for our viewers?
Yes, absolutely. Of course, loving starts with us. If we don't know how to be kind and generous and loving and supporting of ourselves, we're going to find that tricky in relationship. For women, it's necessary that we become the fountain of love and we self-nurture. And that means that in loving ourselves, in honouring ourselves, in respecting ourselves, we're not going to run into that problem of overgiving. And overgiving is a sure way to end up being taken for granted. And also, and this is a real kicker, it tends to kill his inspired masculinity, which is where he wants to keep giving to us, and having us receive those gifts. So that's a really, really big thing. And the other thing is, of course, heal, eat, love, pray to stay balanced in our daily life, every day in every way.
Thank you so much, Heather. If anyone wants more information on Heather Belle Murphy or our topic today, does love paradise exist? You can find her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. Now please stay with us and we'll be right back after the break.
Stay tuned. After the break, we have international meditation teacher and coach Daniella D'Amore talking about personal evolution and conscious creating. Welcome back. We have international meditation teacher and coach Daniella D'Amore here to discuss the topic of personal evolution and conscious creation. Welcome, Daniella.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Megan.
Daniella, personal evolution and conscious creation, what does it really mean?
Well, it's a big topic, really, and it's very popular at the moment, with especially after the movie The Secret and various things like that, laws of attraction. But really what it means is, in my belief, of course, what it means is our own personal journey of evolution, being the spiritual beings having this human experience, and how through using the universal creative energy to create into our lives, what we're doing is learning about our own power, our personal power. And the more and more we learn about our personal power, then the more we are evolving as these spiritual beings, right? Yeah. So it seems like a very complex, very deep topic, and it kind of is, but really at its core, the simplicity of this beautiful topic is just to remember that we are creators. We are creators. Like if the Creator created universes, created this world, created us, therefore in the likeness of it, therefore we're creators, right? So when we're creating, we are honouring that universal energy, whatever that is for you, whether you call it God or Buddha or whatever you want to call it. Whereas when we're not allowing ourselves to create through various fears and doubts and insecurities, then we're really not honouring the Creator and therefore not honouring ourselves. So the more and more we can honour that in ourselves and take that power back It's not selfish to do that. I think a lot of people think, oh, but I'm being selfish if I do that. No, you're not being selfish, because to love yourself and to honor yourself, then you know your power, you know who you are. And I think what happens then is we become kinder and more compassionate people. Core of this, it's really about us consciously creating, means that we are evolving as these beautiful spiritual beings.
Daniella, how could we apply this in our everyday life?
Well, you already do. You already do, whether you're conscious of it or not. And that's why I say conscious creating is about becoming conscious of what you do. And that, again, is about taking that personal power back and saying, oh, I'm creating this because I'm angry today, or I'm upset today, or I'm happy today. You know, we create all the time. Everything you have in your life right now, every single thing, you created it. Now, most of the things that we have in our life right now are good things, are really positive things, right? But we tend to focus on the things that are lacking or we don't have, right? So we think life's hard. So it's about remembering how, the power you already have and how you can build on that. And it is about, being able to go within. Tools like meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga, all of these great tools help us to understand our personal power. And when we understand that we have the power to create things in our life, we stop blaming people. We stop pointing the finger. Well, I'm like this because of my parents, the government, whoever, right? We stop doing that because we're owning our power. So it comes down to basically self-responsibility. And when we're responsible for all of the thoughts and actions that we take, that makes us powerful. Makes us powerful. And we're powerful because we know who we are. We know what we want. We know what we like and what we don't like. And I guarantee, despite the more than 8 billion people on the planet, we all have different likes and dislikes. Not everybody wants the same thing. And even if they do want something similar, it's not going to be exactly the same. The beauty of that is you put your personal stamp on that. You're going to create it your way, and that's the beauty. And the world obviously needs it. So it does come down to self-belief, but we have a self-belief when we know that we are part of this immense, enormous, creative universe, and again, whatever you prefer to call it, and that we are born of that, and we have that within us, and we have that magic, we have that power to create what we need to create. And the more and more we know that, the more and more we live that, the more and more we align with that, then the more we are evolving as beings.
For the viewers at home, where's a good place to start?
Good place to start is to check in with themselves. So whenever anything is happening, good or bad, again, just stop and check in with yourself and just say, how am I feeling right now? Because even when we're creating good stuff, you want to check in and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Because you want more of that, don't you? You want to feel that more and more. How am I feeling? What am I thinking? What are the sensations going on? How is my body feeling? What's showing up in my life right now, right? Good, I want more of that. And the same when it's not going as positive as you'd like it to go, or there's situations, circumstances in your life that you'd like to change, stop. Just stop. Take a deep breath, check in with yourself and say, how am I feeling? What is happening within me? And let it come out. And you'll probably find that there's always some kind of fear, some doubt, insecurity that's there. And that turns into, fear. Nothing good comes from that, really. Right? So if we can come from a place where we're loving the moment, a lot of good's going to come from that. So the more and more we can stop and ask ourselves, how am I feeling right now? Like, what's going on within me? And be totally honest, then the sooner we're going to get through whatever it is we're going through and get to the other side where we can start creating, much more positive results or situations in our life. But not only that, we'll also look better, I think. We won't look so stressed and tired and frustrated, and it just makes us happier people, right? Because the more and more we're in a calm place, the happier we are. And so again, we're going to make better decisions for ourselves. And from making those decisions, then we take action, and we take positive action, which is going to result in positive results, basically. So whereas if we make decisions from a fear standpoint, which under the heading of fear is lots of different uncomfortable situations, then if we make decisions from there and take actions from there, then the result cannot be positive. You cannot have a positive result from a not positive journey. You know what I mean? A negative journey will not provide a positive result. So it's along the way, and we're always going to have that little setback. You might be going along going, yes, 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 and punch in the air and going, I've got it, and then something will happen. Someone will say something to you, something will happen, and immediately we go straight into that autopilot, into that default. Oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm scared, or you're not feeling safe again, whatever it is that triggers you. But becoming conscious about that, you know how to move through that faster. You're not going to sit in it, not going to stay in it as long as you probably would, and blame someone else.
Daniella, that's such valuable information. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
If you'd like to know more about Daniella and personal evolution and conscious creation, please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And after the break, we'll have another interesting guest with another interesting topic.
Stay tuned. After the break, barbecue cook and healthy food advocate Sarah Kiryshin will be talking about healthy food for today's busy people. Welcome back to Health, Wellbeing and Lifestyle. We are here again with Sarah Kiryshin, barbecue cook and healthy food advocate, continuing our discussion about healthy food for today's busy people. And Sarah, this looks like you've brought a party into the studio, and I can't wait to hear more about it. It looks so delicious.
Amazing. Well, this is my favorite, my go-to, my crowd pleaser. When I am doing a barbecue, this is what I get out every single time. I know I go on a lot about making sure that barbecue is always easy, but in this case, it is so quick and so easy, and I've never met someone that doesn't enjoy it. It is just delicious.
Please explain what we have here.
Okay, so what we have is, I'll talk about these amazing little triangles here. So we've got lamb mince in pita bread in its simplest form. However, me being me, I always like to bam up my meals a little bit. So with the lamb mince, what I do is I pop in some tomatoes, some onion, some Mediterranean and Middle Eastern spices such as sumac, Aleppo peppers. They can be a little hard to get hold of, but we can pop in a few other inspired herbs and spices. So a bit of paprika is amazing in there, some parsley, some garlic. Mince it up, smear it in a pita bread and pop it on the barbecue. It is sublime every single time.
Do you cook the mince before you put it in the pita bread?
No. So you'd be surprised. It can be a little bit surprising when you do cook it because it cooks so easily. You just kind of get one large pita bread, smear half of it with the raw lamb mince mixture, fold the pita bread over, straight on a barbecue with a bit of oil.
Yum.
So good. Next to the lamb pittas, we have smashed potatoes. These are, again, a crowd pleaser. They're delicious, and I am a little bit sneaky with this dish. You can exclude it, but I like to baste mine in some butter, and I put a bit of paprika in the butter as well. So it infuses through the potatoes as they're cooking. Just continue to gently baste them with a little bit of that butter. If you want to get really fancy, you can get a few stalks of rosemary and use that to baste the potatoes, and it adds even more flavour again. So the absolute best combination to have with this dish is my loaded yogurt. Then I bam it up with some of my secret ingredients. So let me talk you through what we have. Now, lemon. Very simple, very straightforward. The acidity helps cut through any fats or any, umami flavours for the barbecue, and it complements everything perfectly. We'll pop that there. So my secret ingredient, people always ask me how I manage to get so much flavour into the food that I cook. Often I use preserved lemons. They're salty, they're super powerful in flavour, and they just make every dish so much more delicious. So I pop in the preserved lemons. I've got some grated garlic here because, hello, garlic makes everything taste better. Then what I have, this is a combination of 3 herbs. Use whatever's handy. This is mint, parsley and oregano. Dill works absolutely spectacularly in this dish as well. You know what? I love it being super herby, so I'm going to put all of those herbs in, and they will soften and they will infuse the flavour of the yogurt as the days go by. So definitely one to keep in the fridge because it only gets better with time. And then 2 other ingredients. You can actually add quite a few ingredients to this yogurt. This is kind of in its most simplest form. I'm also going to add in some sumac. So sumac is like a Middle Eastern berry. And so they dry it out and they grind it up. And I've also just got some salt in there because, again, everything tastes a lot better when we add a bit of salt, doesn't it? And you pretty much add in a little bit of olive oil and mix it around. The longer you leave it, the better, because the flavours will infuse even more. But I'm sure you are going to try this, and I'm sure you're going to say it tastes amazing just the way it is. But obviously, as you leave it, it'll just keep getting better. So once you've made your yogurt, grab a pita bread, pop a bit of yogurt on there, straight down the hatch. It's amazing.
Would you be able to share with us your best entertaining Barbie tips?
Okay, so there's so many ways that you can enjoy a barbecue even more when you are entertaining. So for example, with these pitas, you can even get people to make their own if you want. Say, here's a pita bread, pop a bit of mince on there, fold it over and chuck it on the Barbie. Otherwise, because it's done so quickly, we've got our friends together, we've got food kind of going on and coming off the barbecue, and it becomes quite a communal situation. And people just, trust me, whenever I do these pitas, people always keep kind of strategically coming back to check in if there's any more. But in terms of you cooking it on the barbecue, it's a social thing, it's an active thing. It gets you outside, and as we know, cooking on the barbecue tastes better. So always make sure that you've got your Barbie nice and hot when you're going to put food on there. I always use charcoal. I prefer charcoal cooking. The flavour and the heat distribution is far better. And it seems daunting, but it really is not. It is a very straightforward process. It's almost as simple as lighting a gas barbecue, honestly. You just put charcoal in a barbecue or a pit, or whatever you can find that's safe. You use fire lighters and put them in amongst the charcoal. I always use natural fire lighters when I am cooking with food or using the fire for cooking with food, because it doesn't taint the taste of the food either. So it's a much better option for you. And then once it's ignited, once the charcoal is white and glowing red, you know you're good to cook. And you will infuse the most incredible flavours into your food every single time.
Well, thank you so much again, Sarah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this myself, so I'm excited.
My pleasure.
If you'd like to learn more about Sarah Kiryshin and healthy food for today's busy people, please visit her webpage on our website at healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And that's all for today, and we'll see you next week.
If you'd like to know more about our show, please like our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel.